Welcome to the underwater level. That's what I'm naming the podcast. Also, I'm gonna be in my Mario Dolphin form for the podcast until I debut into the live 2D model. Super Mario 2 yeah. Good name, I like it. Good. I'm glad you like it. But yeah, we're drowning in gaming news from the past month. Since I'm pretty much going to do like this, try to have it like a monthly thing, so it won't be too often, but we will have a lot to talk about. Um, There's a state of play today? No, no, no. This is back from May. I'm mainly just having this as a B-roll while we talk about Concord. Um, so yeah, Concord came out um at the end of August. Uh, it lasted 2 weeks, 2 whole weeks. But the thing is, like when it was revealed, um, I remember when we watched it. We watched it back in May. When we watched this state of play, and what we were thinking the game was going to be, because like they hadn't really revealed anything about the game other than the name, and we had no idea what it was. And then when they showed it, it ended up being a 5v5 hero shooter like Overwatch. Um, and people were like, "Oh, okay," and people were just not interested. Um, and then when it came out, like they tried like doing like the beta and whatever, and people played it that way. Uh, and then when it came out, it did not sell that well. People were just not interested, and they decided, well, it's got to go offline. It's got to go offline like 2 weeks in, which is crazy. State of Decay 2 is also a disastrous sort of a deal. I don't know anything about State of Decay, but yeah, they nuked it. Such a sad state of this game. Yeah. And apparently, like there are reports that it cost like $400 million, and apparently, like in the development team, they were talking about how it was like an environment of toxic positivity, which was quoted. Um, and how like everybody was like, "Oh yeah, the game looks good," or whatever. And it's like they had like no outside people telling them that it looks bad, that like wasn't gonna work. So that's so weird. There are many issues with the game, but I thought that the biggest flaw was the fact that it was a $40 game. Overwatch 2 and Deadlock were free to play, free. Yeah, and the thing is, like Overwatch came out at a time. I bought Overwatch for $60. That's before we had an oversaturation of hero shooters. It was like Overwatch was kind of like a newer thing back in 2016. And it was fun back then. Uh, I know like there's still people who play it now, but like I had way more fun with it when it first came out. Um, and like I played it until like 2018, and then I just got like kind of lost interest in it. Um, but yeah, yeah, it didn't. Once I saw this trailer, when we were looking at the cinematic trailer, I was like, "Oh, is this going to be like Guardians of the Galaxy, like that game?" Because that's actually a pretty underrated game. The Square Enix's Guardians of the Galaxy game that came out back in 2021. It's actually pretty good. That game was tainted by the Avengers from the previous year. Um, because that was like another live service game. But the Guardians of the Galaxy game was not. That was just like a solid like single player experience. Um, so that's what I thought this Concord game was going to be. Once I saw the trailer, I was like, "Is this like Guardians of the Galaxy?" It just kind of like gave off those vibes, like a combination of Guardians of the Galaxy and like Star Wars or whatever. Um, and apparently, like according to that report about the toxic positivity thing, is that apparently uh they were so confident in this that they said like, "Oh yeah, this is going to be Sony's Star Wars." This? Are you sure? And you know what's so hilarious about this is that there's still gonna be the secret level show coming out in December. That's gonna have like a bunch of different game franchises represented in that show. It's from the creator of Love, Death, and Robots. Um, and one of the episodes is gonna be about Concord, and that's gonna be so that's gonna be so funny. Doesn't Sony already have a sci-fi IP? Yeah, they do. They have multiple. So I'm not sure I understand why. they would, like, bank on, like, this when they have, like, so many other games that they could have chosen? Because apparently, like, the Last of Us, Factions game was canceled. Um, and people know Last of Us, and people love Last of Us. Um, so it's kinda mind-boggling that they would go with this. They were, like, trying to they it's definitely kind of like a cart before the horse situation with Concord. Um, how they're like, "Oh, yeah, this is gonna be a huge thing." And it's like, well, with, like, all these things they were planning, and it's like, "Oh, you need something else first, I think?" So, yeah, so that's the thing with Marvel Rivals. I think the only thing that works as hero shooters now is, like, stuff that's already an IP. Because like, Marvel Rivals kinda works because like, you kinda already know the characters and everything, like, everybody knows, like, different Marvel heroes and everything thanks to the MCU and, like, Marvel just being around forever. Um, but also just Marvel Rivals kinda looked fun. This just looks very generic. So, yeah. But yeah, let's take a look at the, take a look at the trailer for that secret level show. Um, let's see, I have it up here. Yeah, here's the secret level. I'll pause this real quick while we were talking about Concord. But yeah, here's the secret level show. So he has like Warhammer stuff. Um, it's gonna have like a Mega Man thing, a Pac Man thing, which looks very weird. But it's from the creator of Love, Death, and Robots, which I think is a really cool show because it's like an anthology series of different like sci-fi tales and stuff. Where this is like an anthology series of like video games tales, which is really cool. Like it has a seafood. That's another thing that they have in here. They have like a different lot of different Sony franchises that are in here. Destiny, I think. I'm not sure if there's Destiny in here. Um, but yeah, it looks really cool, and I'm not sure which one of these is good. Yeah, there's the Mega Man thing, which that I think that's gonna be very interesting. What they do with Mega Man, and they'll flash some of the names at the end here. Oh, you saw Kratos there too. Yeah, there's Kratos. But he's, like, in a city, so I think it's, like, gonna be, like, a bunch of, like, Sony, like, characters together. Are they gonna do, like, a PlayStation All-Stars, episode? That'd be cool. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot here that's gonna be really interesting. I know one of these is, Concord. I don't know if this might be Concord right here because it kinda looks similar to what that trailer looked like. Yeah, there's Mega Man again. Very anime. Yeah, that was the Sifu one there. But yeah, what I loved about oh yeah, there's an Armored Core one happening too. That was with that big robot there. But oh yeah, it was Spelunky was in there too. But yeah, this is one of the screenshots that's gonna be from Concord. Yeah, D&D. Yeah, Dungeons and Dragons. But yeah, it's just so funny that Concord is going to be in this series. Yeah, December 10th. It's gonna be yeah. There's the Pac-Man one, which is very interesting. But yeah, but yeah, they were taken off like 2 weeks into the game being online, and there were actually, like, some people that were trying to get the platinum of the game. Some people got them, 69 to be exact, but I think one person actually did end up trying to get the platinum so he got to 70, so it was like, "Aw, man, you coulda kept it at 69 people who had the platinum trophy in Concord." People were, like, literally just, like, throwing themselves off of the ledges in the game to, like, get enough playtime to, like, level up, to to get the platinum. 'Cause it was gonna be, like, one of the rarest platinums to have. But, I did wanna, open up this article about, how there are some other games here that, that were very short-lived, and I'm not sure if any of them beats Concord. Um, remember Battleborn? Remember how there were Battleborn characters in Ready Player One? That was weird because there was, like, Overwatch characters and Battleborn characters in Ready Player One. Uh, but yeah, I'm surprised it lasts that long. Yeah, it shut down in 2021, but it came out, like, the same month as Overwatch, which was definitely a mistake. Crucible, uh, says never came back online publicly after reverting to a closed beta in, June 2020. So, I don't remember this game. Lawbreakers, I know about that's from, like, Epic Games. No, that's from, the Cliff Bleszinski, who left Epic Games. That's right. But yeah, that lasted, like, a year. Uh, Radical Heights, that lasted, like, a few months. Anthem, says this, the servers are still online, but it's not getting any support. I'm surprised the servers are still online for Anthem. Knockout City lasted 2 years. Bleeding Edge says servers remain online for that one. Rumbleverse lasted like a year. Well, actually half a year. Gigantic lasted a year. Warhaven lasted about half a year. Mortal Kombat Onslaught. I hadn't heard of that one. Team-based RPG Mortal Kombat Onslaught, huh? Oh yeah, Mario 35. Yeah, that also. Yeah, but those are a few like examples of like online games that were like short-lived. Uh, but yeah, Concord is definitely one of the one of the ones that lasted the shortest. 2 weeks. That's all it got. But you know what? You know what came out? The day that it shut down. Here it is. Astrobot came out. Yeah, we played that on stream. Astrobot is like super, super good. I loved like every minute of it. Astrobot killed Concord. Yeah. But yeah, I remember like because this was like the at the end of that May state of play, and that was like the highlight of that state of play. I was like, oh cool, they're doing like a full Astrobot game. Because like I played Astro's Playroom like with my PS5 when I first got it, and it was like super super fun. But it was super short. Um, I've never played the previous Astro games that were like on PlayStation VR. Like the Astro's Rescue Mission. I never played that because I never had the VR headset. Um, but I played Astro's Playroom, and that was really cool. And I was thinking, man, I would love to have a game that was like bigger than this to play Astro with. And now we do, and it's super super good. It's as I was playing it, I was thinking this is basically Super Mario Galaxy 3. With how how the some of the mechanics work in this game as far as like a 3D platformer goes. Um, because there are like some things in this that like are straight out of Mario Galaxy. For how some things works. There's one power up that is basically Cloud Mario. Um, but that's actually a compliment because like it's super good. It's super super fun. I love like every minute of it, and we 100%ed it on stream. Uh, I may replay it someday. And there's gonna be like some free DLC for it coming soon. Um, with some speedrun levels and stuff with some more bots added. I hope they keep doing some more. And I hope they'll be able to make some more stuff in the future. Because like it was really good. Yeah, Parappa Astrobot. Yeah, there's it was so weird. Like PlayStation had such a rough month, but like this was like a shining light in that rough month because like Astrobot is very much a love letter to PlayStation. as far as like PlayStation's history goes, because like everything in it, like yeah, you see Wander there from Shadow of the Colossus. Uh, it's super good. I do want to get some of the reviews here uh from Metacritic here. Uh, you can see it's a universal acclaim, like from critics, like all positive. It's all positive. No mixed, no negative reviews. Like universal acclaim. It's super good. And 94, it's definitely a game of the year contender. And you see like all these like hundreds here. There's so much. Do I see Astrobot winning game of the year? It might. I would love to see it win game of the year, though I do really love Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, but that was like so early in the year. Astrobot might have a chance because usually the Game Awards does have a bit of a recency bias, um, sometimes. So I think Astrobot does have a chance. We'll have to see what else like scores later this year, though. But yeah, so many like perfect hundreds. But it's super good. Yeah, I'm just gonna read a few here. It says, Astrobot doesn't just deliver on the promise of potential displayed in PS5 pack-in demo Astro's Playroom, but soars above and beyond to serve a near-perfect platformer to rival and possibly surpass the best of Super Mario's Mushroom Kingdom ROMs. Yeah, it's super good. Like, there's a reason people compare it to Mario, because like Mario's the only thing that is close to how good this is. But yeah. Oh yeah, Wipeout did like appear as far as like some of the bots in the game. Yeah, Mario Wonder and like Tears of the Kingdom like were nominated last year. But yeah, Baldur's Gate 3, yeah, that's the thing is like Baldur's Gate 3 like was such a big thing last year and like nobody expected it. Um expected it like being that good. But yeah, Astrobot, yeah, it's super good. Had rave reviews. It's getting free DLC soon. I'm very glad about that. It's wild that Astrobot is one game where I wouldn't mind more bots and they'd be a net positive. Yeah. Yeah, there's like one company that was not really represented in Astrobot as far as like the as far as from PlayStation history, and that's Square Enix. There was like no Square Enix bots unless you count Lara Croft from Tomb Raider because they sort of own Tomb Raider now. I'm not sure if they actually sold them off or not. Um, I don't know if like Eidos Montreal is like their own thing now or if like Square Enix still owns them. I'm unsure about that. Somebody can correct me. Um, but yeah, there's like no Square Enix things. Square Enix has to be in the update, maybe. We'll see. Because there was the Buster Sword in Astro's Playroom. But yeah, I was very surprised when I was just waiting as I was playing Astrobot, waiting to see like a Final Fantasy bot somewhere in there. Um, but there wasn't. And I was like super surprised by that because there's like so many other third parties like from Konami and Capcom and stuff of like big franchises representative of like um Castlevania and Resident Evil. So very surprised by that. An article came out about why Square Enix characters is missing. Really? Because I know that Square Enix and Sony's relationship are kind of strained right now because of like the performance of some of their games on the console. Yeah, and even Activision. Yeah, we got like Crash and Spyro in there. They're in there. You just haven't found them yet. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure if they would do Sora because like it was super like crazy that we got Sora in Smash. I'm not sure if they would even like attempt trying to have Sora in an Astrobot. Surprised they reference games that were highly underrated like Rogue Galaxy. Yeah, that's because like Rogue Galaxy is also like one of their Sony published games. Um, but yeah. All right. Uh, next. Oh boy. let's talk about this, which was definitely a thing that happened. The Minecraft movie trailer came out, and it had a very bad reception. Oh yeah, it has like 1.8 million dislikes right now. It's very ugly. And the thing is, like, when I looked at, like, the backgrounds and stuff here of, like, the trees and stuff when they, like, walk in hold on. Like, apparently some of this stuff is real. You see, like, if you've seen some of the behind the scenes stuff that they've been posting, it's like, oh, they made some of those trees real and still made it look fake. Yeah, Jack Black's had a very bad year when it comes to video game movies.
There's nice hat.
Thanks. Saw a post about it on Reddit and said that one thing is for sure, my 12-year-old cousin will quote this like it's The Godfather. Wow. But yeah, it's so weird because like originally there was going to be a completely animated Minecraft movie, and it was going to be directed by the creator of Always Sunny in Philadelphia. That was going to be a thing at one point. That was like years and years ago though. Um, but this just looks horrible. And the thing is, like, it can't really be redone like the Sonic movie because like the backlash for the Sonic movie is like, oh, it's just one character. Like a lot of the movie is the same from what they did before. Like they couldn't really like change that much about it other than how Sonic looks. With this, it's like it's the whole movie. It's the all of the movie. It's the whole world. They can't redo anything. It'll be interesting to see how well it does. I think it'll definitely do better than Borderlands. Borderlands is not nearly as well known as Minecraft is. Minecraft is like literally one of the highest selling games. I think it is the highest selling game of all time. Um, so it'll definitely do better than Borderlands. I know that at least. Um, will it do better than Sonic 3? I do wonder because Sonic 3 is coming out during the holiday season, so we'll see. But this is coming out yeah, April next year? It's taking that, like, Mario time slot because like, the Mario movie came out, in April in 2023. Uh, so we'll see how it does. It's coming out around, like, springtime. Jack will probably not pull off this role like he did in the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Yeah. It's weird, like yeah, I did like him as Bowser. He was fun as Bowser. Always Sunny the title card, the gang fights an inner dragon. Yeah. Yeah, I would have loved to see the version of this movie that would have been directed by the Always Sunny in Philadelphia director, but that's not what we're getting, and we're not getting a fully animated movie. We're getting like a CGI, realistic CGI movie. Yeah, I think the reason this doesn't look good is because it doesn't have to. All of it has to do is force the 500 million kids to force their parents to take them, and all it needs to do is exist. So yeah. Yeah, we'll see. We'll talk about it more when like not the game, the movie comes out. But back to Sony. Um, so there's been like there's like been a lot of memes with like the PS5 or the PlayStation throughout the month of September, where it's like it's so over, we're so back, it's so over, we're so back, and this is one of the weird it's so over moments. Um, the PlayStation 5 Pro was announced, and they were, like, talking about, like, a bunch of the different things that it can do. The, uh the PSSR, like, up-res stuff, uh, like, how it's gonna be faster or whatever, how things look a little bit better. It it's somewhere in here, hold on, wait. Yeah, larger GPU. Yeah, PSSR, or pisser, as some people are calling it. It's not like a DLSS, like, apparently DLSS is, like, the best, of, like, the different things out of AMD, this PlayStation thing, and, yeah, pisser and DLSS. Um, but you have, like, some comparisons here, and it's like, a lot of people, like, look at the video and they're like, "I guess it looks better? I can't really tell." But the thing is, like, it's a lot of it's, like, the compression on YouTube as well, but then again, you won't really be able to tell the difference unless, like, you have, like, the 2 consoles right next to each other. So, it's kinda pointless to have it in a video. PSSR player, our games, but sir, we have not. Yeah, they're the same picture, yeah. So, it's just very hard to tell. The only thing you would be able to tell is, like, frame rate. And, like, if frame rate's, like, better, yeah, that's great. But the kicker here isn't, like, all this stuff here. It's this at the end. Uh, and they, like, show some of the games at the end here. Um, this is, like, the most replayed thing here at the end. They just flash that price. They're like, "Ooh, $700." And even more overseas. Yeah, 3DO prices.
Wait, what?
And guess what? Look at this here. Stand sold separately.
Quiet!
I don't care who the IRS sends. I am not paying taxes.
Oh, you're gonna pay a lot for this. And the thing is, it's no disk drive either. This is digital only. You would think with a pro system, they would have the disk drive attached. You would think that, like, people who want the pro want to have their physical games. But no, you need to buy the disk drive separately. So, it's a lot. Yeah, just laugh at it. Laugh at that price. And the thing is, they did go on pre-order, like, last week, or, like, earlier this I think last week. And it's still easy to get. You can still kinda get a pre-order, like, 'cause not a lot of people are trying to get one. There The Apple Pippin was $1,200. Oh, yeah. Yeah, $800 after the disk drive and the vertical stand or purchase, and that's not even including taxes. Um, yeah, the PS3 launch all over again. Yeah, that's why we rewatched the 2006, like, PlayStation conference, a couple weeks ago, because it just reminded me of that. The Xbox Series X is gonna outsell this hand over fist. Well, I don't know. I think just the base PS5 will just be fine. Because not a lot of people are, like, buying Xboxes. Like, I think just the Pro is just not gonna just do well. Like, there'll be a lot of, like, enthusiasts that might, like, buy this, but even enthusiasts are like, "Nah, I can just wait. Wait until the PS6 or
This is
something."
the most obnoxious thing I've ever experienced in my life.
Wow, you guys are going like crazy with the redeems right now. Bet I had to find an up-to-date list of highest selling video games.
Dude,
This is impressive. Yeah,
that?
that is the $700 price point of the PS5 Pro. That's what that is. Even scalpers won't pre-order to hoard them. Yeah, the only thing that scalpers are getting are the new. I also forgot to put that on the list of the 30th anniversary PS5 PS5 Pro, because they're only making like 12,000 of those. But yeah, it's a lot, and it's even more like it's like the most expensive in Japan, which is crazy. Like, I don't think they're focusing on the Japanese market that much anymore, especially since, like, a lot of their Japanese studios just aren't around. Sony and Skinner, do we really have that many IPs that we're doing nothing with? No, it's the franchises that are bad. Yeah, the PS1 look on the PS5 Pro. Yeah, a lot of people like that, and there's like the controllers as well. Um, you can just like get the controller. Uh, but yeah, this was definitely one of the "it's so over" moments. Like Concord was like the "it's so over," then Astrobot is like "we're so back," and then "it's so over" again, and then it'll be "we're so back" again. It was kinda when we go over the state of play a little bit. Um, but next, let's turn our attention to something that happened like around the same time when the PS5 Pro was announced. Is a bunch of the Switch 2 uh leaks and stuff that happened. Um, when we had like this leak, uh, some images of the Joy Cons from the Switch 2, as far as like from the manufacturer or whatever. And it seems to be legitimate as far as the shelves and stuff goes. Some people are speculating whether they would be like 3D printed or something, but it looks way too detailed to be 3D printed. Um, then there's like these are just renders that like an enthusiast did to like make renders of like what the whole system would look like with like the Joy Cons and everything. Yeah, and it could be a prototype. It could not be the final thing. It could be just a prototype they were working on. And this is like the comparison of how big Switch 2 would be compared to the regular Switch, which is it's significantly bigger. Um which is nice because that means that it has a bigger screen. Um apparently like an 8-inch screen compared to the 6-inch screen of the original Switch. So yeah, it doesn't seem like it's going to have the original Joy-Cons compatible with it. But yeah, here you see the screen here. And I believe this is the OLED screen here. Because the OLED screen is a bit bigger than the original Switch. Um, and also they have it to where there's a USB port on the bottom and also on the top. Uh, which also there was also a recent thing that came out about an accessory for the Switch 2 apparently, uh, to have to put on the top. Um, but having a USB port, USB C port at the top is very nice because that means you can actually play it in like tabletop mode while charging it. Because that was like one of the most annoying things about the original Switch design is that the USB C port was at the bottom, so you couldn't really use it in tabletop mode. Um, if you have it charging. But yeah, and here's the back of it, and it has like the kickstand that's more like the Switch OLED kickstand. And it looks like these things are like the latches for the like the latches to get the Joy-Cons off. Because apparently there's also that rumor a while back about the Joy-Cons using magnets, which it looks like this down here. As far as like having magnets attached to the system rather than having the rail system. And this is what makes people think it's like totally legitimate is because there's actually a circuit board here. Um and that would be way too much effort to fake. To like have this whole circuit board here and having like all these places where the chips would go. Um and this was be where the battery would go here. This would be the card slot. Um so yeah, this is the battery. This is the circuit board. This is where the system on a chip would go, like the NVIDIA's custom chip would go here. The card slot would go here. So this is just like the basic the basic board for it, without anything on it yet. But yeah, and like I said, people are getting antsy. Is like try wanting to see the Switch 2 revealed. So things have been leaking. Um, here's some closer visuals of the Joy-Con here. There's like full view of like a 3D render of it. But again, like it might just be the prototype. So we'll see. Oh yeah, Deli, you can also use the song command. This for when you won't hear it on the recording though. Yeah, it's that simple and clean remix. Um, but yeah, I'm excited. I definitely hope it's revealed this month so we can talk about it at the podcast at the end of this month. Um, and we can like speculate about things. There's also other things to talk about because there's also specs that were kind of leaked, and this was like something that was like talked about before, and the specs seem pretty solid. Um, Apparently, for what the specs are, it would put it in between what as far as like handheld, it would be about as powerful as a PS4, but with docked, it would be between like a PS4 Pro and an Xbox Series S. Possibly more power than that, but like having something like that like on the go or even just docked is I think perfectly fine enough. And plus with like how Nvidia does their DLSS for upscaling, uh it can it can definitely like punch above its weight. Uh or it should like punch above its weight with like the specs that we have here. Um so we'll see. I just hope that like current Switch games will run a lot better on it. Because I have noticed a lot in like Echoes of Wisdom, which we'll talk about that a little bit later. Um, how and there's certain areas in Echoes of Wisdom where the frame rate will kind of like drop a little bit in the same way that it did in Link's Awakening, um, with that remake. So hopefully, like with this, like the Switch 2 will run games a lot better. Apparently there was that like behind closed doors thing that happened at Gamescom where they were like playing Breath of the Wild um at like a much higher resolution at like 60 FPS. Um, so hopefully that can happen for like original Switch games where it has like a better running performance for them. But yeah, I'm excited. And apparently it also will have like a lot more storage compared to like the measly 32 gigabytes you got with the original Switch. Apparently it'll have like 256 gigabytes of storage, which still isn't too much compared to the other consoles, but it's still a lot compared to like with how big Nintendo's games usually are. Because Nintendo is very good at compressing their games to like small sizes. I'm still surprised at like how small some of their game sizes are. But yeah, I just hope Nintendo doesn't do a new 3DS, Nintendo 3DS with the new Switch. Yeah, I hope they don't call it that. Hopefully, they just call it like something like the Switch 2. There's been rumors that like they're actually just calling it the Switch 2. That way they don't confuse consumers. They really don't want to try to do a repeat of the Wii U, as far as their marketing goes. So I think like just calling it the Switch 2 just makes sense. I don't think it'll be Super Switch. I know a lot of like people kind of want it to be like the Super Switch because like they remember like being like, oh yeah, Super Nintendo. Um, but I think that might also kind of confuse like regular consumers. Um, Switch Advance, maybe, I don't know. I think Switch 2 makes the most sense though. So was it Switch Blade? There's a blade in it. But yeah, hopefully it will be revealed this month and we can stop speculating on everything. Unless we have to wait until January. So we'll see. All right. Next, let's talk about some of the stuff that was shown off at the Sonic Central. I didn't really look too much into this. I didn't like watch it because this was at the same day as the state of play. But I only like looked at some of the announcements that happened. Um, there's this Sonic Rumble game that's coming out. Which is basically Sonic but Fall Guys. So I thought it looked pretty neat. It's coming to mobile and PC. Uh, but it looks kind of fun. Sonic guys, yeah. Yeah, it looks pretty neat. And you play a bunch of different Sonic characters. There's like what, this guy from Sonic Lost World? What? Let's see who else they had in here. Oh wait, there's Eggman and Eggman again. Oh, it's just repeating some of these. Oh yeah, that guy from Sonic Riders. Yeah, the cream in here. But a lot of this was mainly like yeah, it's updates to like Sonic Dash games that are like mobile games. Uh Amy in a outfit. Let's see what else they had here. Oh, they had some stuff for wait, is this Lego Sonic? Or is this no, this Sonic is a mascot. Oh yeah, this was announced. Chow Tales, which is apparently like like a mini series thing that they're doing. Yeah, it's just gonna be like on YouTube and stuff. Uh, some wait, Roblox. Some Monkey Ball stuff. Uh, where's the interesting stuff I was gonna go over? Oh yeah, some more Lego stuff that was here. This figure of Shadow from Jack Pacific. What was this? Golf game? Huh. Oh yeah, there's like a weird like oh yeah, there was a doing that DC Comics crossover where they're having a bunch of their characters as DC heroes. Shadow is Batman, as you can see right here. Yeah, Batman. They talk about like the different ones that they're gonna have here. I know that like Knuckles is gonna be Superman. Sonic is gonna be Flash. Amy's Wonder Woman. Tails is Cyborg. You know, they talk a lot here. Oh yeah, and here's the new trailer for Sonic X Shadow Generations, which I'm excited about playing. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. Yeah, super good. Silver is Green Lantern? Wow. But yeah, I'm excited about this game. Everything I keep seeing of it, it keeps looking better. And then there's like the Dark Beginnings thing, um, which the trailer here was really cool, and the first 2 episodes are already out right now. Um, but yeah, like I said, this is done in Blender, which is crazy. It looks super good. Anime done in Blender? Yeah. Yeah, like some of the shots here are really cool. There's one shot here of Gamma. I want to see it right here. Yeah, there, right there. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. Like doing that kind of shot in Blender with like the gun on the ground. Um, but yeah, that's cool. But yeah, if you haven't seen it, like the first 2 episodes are out on Sonic the Hedgehog's channel right now. Um, I think that's about it that I wanted to talk about in here. Oh, they talked a little bit about the movie, like the movie coming out. We have a few clips. Yeah, what the hell? What are the chow? What are they shaped like that? That's weird. Anyway, yeah, Sonic stuff. The most exciting thing was like the Dark Beginnings thing and like seeing the Sonic X Shadow Generations trailer. Um, but then next, this was like the day before. I think it was the day before. Um, the day before Sonic Central and the State of Play, which we'll talk about the State of Play afterwards. But um, uh, Nintendo's suing Pal World. And I have a couple articles here because it says this analyst is like certain that Nintendo will win its lawsuit against Pal World. Because it's weird because like when Pal World came out, Nintendo made a tweet saying like we're looking into Pal World. So they were like gathering stuff to like I guess take them to court or whatever. Because when Pal World came out, there was a bunch of like critics about like saying, "Oh, this is like Pokemon," or like some of these things are like ripping off Pokemon, like straight up ripping off the models. And like there's been some images of like some of the models together, and they look very convincing as far as like um how close some of these models are to Pokemon. Like if you look at one of the pals is very similar to Primarina. Um, and her shape and like Superior as well. Um, so it'll be interesting to see what happens in court. Because they're not going after them with copyright. They're going after them because of patent. And apparently, like I'm not a lawyer or anything. I don't know anything about like copyright law or patent law. But apparently, it's much easier to go after a company for patent than it is for copyright. And that's probably what they're trying to get them for. Um, yeah, the Luxray model. Yeah, yeah. That one pal looks just like a Luxray. So yeah, there. that yeah. But it'll be interesting to see what happens because there's another article here saying like that one attorney suggests that it may be harder to win in the U.S. than in Japan. Um, and I think that's why they're like trying to go after them in Japan. Uh, And you know what's funny is that when we go over the State of Play, next, is that the State of Play had Power World in it and said that Power World was out that day. It wasn't out in Japan. So they might have a thing to where I don't know if it'll actually be a thing or not, where like Power World can't be sold in Japan, but it can be sold elsewhere, or I don't know. It's weird. It is a very weird situation. Um, for what Nintendo and the Pokemon company are doing, because like it's not just Nintendo, it's also the Pokemon company. Because like Nintendo doesn't wholly own Pokemon; it's like a joint thing between Nintendo, Game Freak, and Creatures, and then like that kind of forms the Pokemon company. So you only sell Pal World in countries with the PAL video standards. Wow. But yeah, and also yeah, like this creature, that's just Lucario. Like the same kind of face. Like I said, if you look at like some of the comparisons of like the actual models themselves with each other, the meshes of everything just like look very similar, like overlaid against each other. The thing is, like, I mean, I was never really interested in Pal World because then when I found out that it was like a survival type game, I was like, I don't like survival games anyway, so I did not want to play it. But the thing that they're like trying to sue them for is like the Pokeball style catching thing. Uh which is strange because like I don't know like when they had the patent for it. I believe they had the patent like after after the Pal World was out. I can be completely wrong on that though. I don't know much about this compared to other people, but it'll be interesting to see what happens. The Universal Nintendo spat on uh the 80s. It spat in the 80s over Donkey Kong, and King Kong was more reasonable in the comparison to most legal battles. Yeah, it's funny with Donkey Kong and King Kong because like Universal was like, oh wait, the copyright ran out on King Kong, which is funny. Well, I think that's what happened. I don't remember. Because like King Kong, like there's people can like make a lot of things about King Kong now. Because like you know how there was that Kong game that came out like recently that was like terrible because it has like no association with Universal or Warner Brothers or whatever. Because like Warner Brothers is making like the Godzilla movies and like the MonsterVerse movies. But yeah, it has like no association with them. There's like a lot of different things that can be made with Kong. Yeah, worst case scenario, it does get taken offline because of the Nintendo thing. But yeah, like I've seen the comparisons of the models, and the models definitely look very convincing as far as like them using Pokemon models and just altering them. Um, I don't want to say that I'm completely sure, but it definitely looks like it. Especially with stuff with like Lucario and the Luxray model and Superior and Primarina. Like if you see those side by side in the like the 3D meshes and stuff, it looks like they use them. But they're not going after them for copyright. They're going after them for patent. So we'll see. I have seen Citizen Kane. Yeah, we'll see what happens later this year. If like something happens to Pal World or not. All right. Next up, we are getting an ad break in 3 minutes, but we will talk about a little bit about the state of play before that happens. Um, so we got the state of play, in the same day as the Sonic Central at the end of September. And there are some interesting things here. We started off strong with Astrobot, showing the new DLC levels that are coming. These speedrun levels. Also, I just took a drink there. That was that noise. And the speedrun levels were very fun in Astro's Playroom. I really enjoyed those. Um, but I'm excited about these. I'll do anything for more Astrobot. But these are like free, so I'm excited about that. And a bunch of other things. We saw this really cool game that is stop motion. Um, that looks really really freaky. Apparently it's a VR game, but you can also play it not in VR. So I'm very glad about that. Because I don't have a PSVR 2 or any of VR headset to play it. The horror Rankin Bass, yeah. But yeah, the mid what's it called? Yeah, the Midnight Walk. But yeah, it looks really cool. Um had another horror game here. Uh where yeah, when we saw like some of the enemies in this, we were like, wait, where is it? It looked like yeah. The enemy here is like, "Oh, is that Spot from Spider-Verse?" But this is called Hell Is Us. Um, it did have like some of Death Stranding vibes in here. I haven't played Death Stranding, but it kind of like looked like that with the vibe I got here. Has some VR2 stuff, which I'm not really too into because I don't have a PSVR 2. Uh, this game called Arc Age Chronicles. Yeah, and then we have a Pal World in here, which it was like super awkward It's just like, oh yeah, this is like right after uh it was announced that Nintendo was suing Pal World. And this was a big surprise. Lunar was announced. So I like that they're having like a lot of these like classic 90s RPGs being like remastered, because now we'll have like a like easier ways to play them. But yeah, it had like anime cutscenes and stuff and like voice acting back on like the Sega CD. It's really neat. I actually have the physical versions of these, but they're like really in really bad condition. Of like the Sega CD one. We got new DLC for Shredder's Revenge. Got two more new playable characters with Mondo Gecko and Mona Lisa, which is really cool. And then we got a another thing for Shadow or Sonic X Shadow Generations with you being able to play movie Shadow in the game when the movie comes out, or like in December. And he actually has like Keanu Reeves' voice, which is cool. Um oh yeah, Fantasian was shown here. That was announced back in during the one of the directs in summer. Um that was like coming to console. That was like originally like an Apple Arcade exclusive. Which is really weird that that was an exclusive to Apple Arcade, but it's from the creator of Final Fantasy. Um oh yeah, I've got to get rid of that Nightbot thing. But I'll go ahead and talk about like some of these other things, cuz I don't want to stop the the podcast in the middle for the people who are watching on YouTube. Cuz I will have this on YouTube for the podcast. So there won't be like a huge break in between when the ads happen. But I'll go ahead and talk about some of these other stuff. Dragon Age. I never played Dragon Age. Uh and I wasn't like too interested in this, and they did like a really long extended look here. Um it took up a lot of time in this state of play. Wow, yeah, they how long was this? This is super long. Oh my god, it's still going. Yeah, that was a big chunk that they took of the state of play there for the Dragon Age. Oh yeah, some Alan Wake um Alan Wake DLC coming out. If it's long, then does that mean it's good? Yeah. Yeah, Alan Wake, the lake house. Um, this looked pretty neat. Hitman VR. Um, I know like the Hitman games can be really silly with like the way you kill people. Dragon Age is a major franchise, but it was just weird that was like a huge extended look they had, because like for like a multi-plat game. I'm not sure how big Dragon Age is on PlayStation. But yeah, this was also announced like earlier in the day. Was the Soul Reaver remastered games. But it definitely made them look really good. But still have the same like it's the same people who did the Tomb Raider remastered games, or the remastered trilogy that came out. I've never played Soul Reaver. I have a friend who's like really into Soul Reaver, so that's really cool. Oh yeah, this is like the first of the Blumhouse game. The Blumhouse games is coming out. It's like a polygonal like horror game, and like a PS1 aesthetic thing. Reminds me of Crow Country, which I need to play that too. That's also like recently just came out on the Switch too. And we got some weird like town building game with like really weird creatures. Uh got a Fortnite controller. Sure. This is the Dynasty Warriors game, I believe. Yeah, Dynasty Warriors Origins. Which is definitely like the best looking Dynasty Warriors game I've seen so far. Not a lot of them have like looked this good before. As far as like graphically. And then we got an extended look on Monster Hunter Wilds, or well, actually it was the same trailer that came out like earlier that day, I think. Or was it the same trailer? It might have not been the same trailer. I think this was like a new trailer for State of Play. But Monster Hunter Wilds is like still looking very, very good. I still need to finish Monster Hunter World and like play the DLC of that. I'll probably do that because apparently the recommended specs for Wilds is like insane. For what it recommends to play Wilds on PC. So I don't know. I might pick up the PS5 version and try to play it that way, and then like get the PC version later. But yeah, and then we got yeah, they're talking about like the Capcom thing, which I did watch a little bit that. There's a couple of other Capcom things I want to talk about when we go into that. They have a reminder for Lego Horizon Adventures, which is funny. Like I kind of want to get the Switch version just for the novelty of it, because it has the Sony like published logo on it for a Switch game. Yeah, November 14th. Yeah, PlayStation game on Switch. It's crazy. And then there's Horizon Remastered, which I don't know why they need that. Like Horizon Remastered already, or Horizon like the original game. Like I played through that on my PS5 because I had it as part of that days of play thing they were doing during COVID, where they gave out Horizon Zero Dawn for free. So I played it that way, and they had like a 60 FPS patch for it and everything, and it runs super good, and it looks very good. But I just don't understand why they're doing like a remaster version, because like the original game just looks fine. Yeah, like The Last of Us. Like yeah, they did that for the Last of Us Part 2. Like The Last of Us Part 1, I kind of understood a little bit more because that was originally like a PS3 game, but also they already like they already did like Last of Us Remastered, and then they made like another version of it, Last of Us Part 1, and then Last of Us Part 2 remastered. So but then Stellar Blade apparently getting like a photo mode. And also another thing that interested me, Nier Automata. That's one of my favorite games ever. So now I feel like I have to play Stellar Blade and then play this part of it. Then it went over monthly games here. Some stuff coming to premium, which they had another one of the Legacy of Kain games, Blood Omen, and also Dino Crisis, which I still need to play. They've revealed new colors for the PS5, and then they talked about the PS5 Pro again. Rebirth is definitely one of the games that probably needs it the most as far as like the Pro goes, but still, I played through it fine. Because like in performance mode, it does look blurry sometimes. But still, it's still a lot of money. You would still need to like get a much better PC to like do something as or a much more expensive PC to actually be on par with it though, but still. This was the final announcement, and this was like another one of those we're so back moments. Ghost of Yote, basically the next game in the franchise of the Ghost series. Um, which is apparently like 300 years after um Ghost of Tsushima. I still haven't played Ghost of Tsushima. I want to though. It looks fun. Um, apparently you got like a wolf in this one. Yeah, sequel to Tsushima. But yeah, it looks very nice. Like definitely. Oh, look at the horses. See the horses here. The landscapes look very nice. All the weird people getting mad the pro tag is a woman. Like, come on, man. Yeah. But yeah, it looks very pretty. Like all those landscapes and stuff. It's very good, especially now with the PS5 Director's Cut. Yeah, I definitely want to get it. Or I do have the game. I just haven't like played it yet. I have the original PS4 version though. But I'll probably do the upgrade to like play it. Yotai, I believe. Okay, it's not Yote. Yotai. But yeah, but it does kind of look like you have a wolf friend, so that's cool. But yeah, there was like that was like the biggest announcement. As far as like something first party from Sony, because we hadn't really heard that much from like a lot of their first parties in a while. So this is gonna come out next year. All right. Next, we have a few more things. Um, this is this is interesting. The Sims 5 apparently is not happening. EA talked about like the future of the Sims and everything. It said like that Sims 5 is not happening. They were talking about like Project Renee, which is like apparently gonna like a sort of like a service thing for the Sims as far as like downloading stuff for the Sims. I haven't been like into the Sims in a long time. I've only played like Sims uh the Sims 2. And I think I have like the Sims 3 and a bunch of like the stuff that came with that because they that was like a an offer like a long time ago that you had the Sims 3 and a bunch of other stuff that came with it. Sims 2 was the goat, yeah. But yeah, apparently like they might. Yeah, it says, furthermore, EA has stated that there's no plans at all for any of the Sims 5 game as the company takes the franchise in a new direction away from a numbered entries entirely. Like, there's the Sims Labs thing. Um, I know that, like, people that are into the Sims are kind of disappointed that there's not going to be, like, a definitive sequel type of thing that is going to be a bit different going forward. Renee was basically the code name, and they basically on standby at the moment so they could rework it. Yeah. But yeah, there's also some other stuff here I was looking at um about the there's a this is from like a day ago. There's a data mine for Project Renee. Um stuff about creating a sim, um a garage, the hub for you section, a marketplace, a multiplayer section, user generated content, a live mode. Yeah, I don't know too much about The Sims. I just know that Sims 5 apparently is/isn't a thing. Like Project Renee is like what it's supposed to be, and they're not doing like numbered like titles anymore. Oh, live as living. Oh yeah, live mode. Yeah, okay, yeah, yeah. But yeah, I don't know much about The Sims. I just wanted to put this in because like somebody suggested it. Uh, as far as like a story to talk about. And I did see like Lazy Game Reviews video about it. As the industry is aware about how the number system is these days. Yeah. Um. Okay. Speaking of Capcom earlier, a couple of things I wanted to show you guys that wasn't in the Capcom presentation, but actually one of the things was this right here. I thought was neat. This was like only in the Japanese thing, I think. I'm not sure if it's actually coming out to the US or not. Um, but we got Monster Hunter Digivices. So I think that's really cool. You got Rathalos here and Zenogre. Kazu. Rajang. Tigrex. Nargacuga. I think that's Nargacuga. Ah, crap. What's that one? I'm not familiar with that one, I don't think. I love this one. I keep forgetting its name, but I love the way it looks. It's super, super, super pretty. This might be this is one of my favorite Monster Hunter monsters. I think the flagship monster of Monster Hunter Tri is my favorite. The Lagiacrus? Can't remember. But yeah, it's also really cool because this is with colored sprites on these Digivices. But yeah, this is cool too. They're like have things that are like Greymon with Rathalos combined. Then we have a Garurumon with a Zenogre combined. So this is a really cool like collaboration that Capcom is doing with Digimon. But yeah, it seems like it's Japan only at this point. Um, but I kind of want one. Those are really cool. But yeah, I thought that was really cool. And then the other thing that another collaboration they're doing is with Transformers. They're making a Rathalos Prime like figure. Let me look in here. Yeah, you have it coming in here, then transforming. Yeah, that's really cool. I like that they're doing like collaborations like this because it's really neat. Because yeah, it's also like a celebration of both Monster Hunter and Transformers. Because like it's Transformers 40th, and then it's Monster Hunter's 20th. So yeah, that's cool. And it looks like we might have other ones. Not just Rathalos. Oh wait, no, these are just different Optimus Primes. But these look like other ones. No, there's a Palico there. All right, we only have a few more stories here. Um, so Echoes of Wisdom came out. I've been playing it on stream. Um, it's been pretty fun so far. I've been enjoying the game. Um, it does have some issues. Like I said earlier when we were talking about the Switch 2 rumors, is it does have some weird frame rate issues in certain areas. It's kind of like fine in dungeons and stuff, but it's like as far as like some of the open areas with a lot of like foliage, kind of like in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom has that same problem too, where it kind of slows down the game a bit. The thing is, like, it's not something that's locked at 30 FPS. It tries to go for 60 FPS sometimes, but unfortunately with that, it does have like the big slowdown when it does. You can notice when it slows down. With the FPS drops. So it's good. But why is Zelda a Pokemon trainer? Yeah, yeah. Like it's very much like a Pokemon thing with it, like using with the battling the monsters and stuff. But it's been a lot of fun so far. I've been enjoying it a lot. We'll probably finish it tomorrow. I'm not sure if I'll do it after the podcast. We might. Uh, and continue. Like just finish it. Um, but I do notice that it has been getting some criticism as far as like how the mechanics work and everything. Um, but I enjoyed enough. I definitely don't like it as much as I do like Tears of the Kingdom or anything. Um, and here are like some of the reviews of it. Like compared to Astrobot, it's mostly positive. We have some mixed reviews though. Let me take a swig of water here before I read some of them. All right. So let's look at some of the mixed reviews. Let's see. Was it kind of long? Destructoid. Ooh, 65. Damn. Legends of Echoes of Wisdom is a new spin on the series formula, but never quite finds itself. I like coming up with creative ways to use use a as bed as much as the next person, but I prefer if the challenges are more consistently creative in return. Instead, things just bled together until I could have just played on autopilot. It takes more than a dress and a bed to keep things interesting. Yeah, I've definitely used the bed a lot in the game. Um, and there's some other like interesting mechanics with the elemental stuff. Um, but overall, like I do enjoy having uh the dungeons again. Like it's like some traditional dungeons. Um, they're still not as good as like previous Zelda dungeons and games, but I do enjoy like finding keys and stuff and like trying to figure out different puzzles in the dungeons. But it's fun for what it is. Um, like I said, I don't like it as much as Tears of the Kingdom or anything as far as like the games on the Switch. I would probably rather replay Link's Awakening than this. Because Link's Awakening is one of my favorite Zelda games anyway. Um, but there's another big thing that happened with this game, and that is that it leaked early. It leaked like 2 weeks early. Um, and you know what other game leaked 2 weeks early? Um, Tears of the Kingdom. Uh, so yeah, that is probably a reason that Nintendo's kind of mad about the Switch emulators. Which we'll talk about that as one of our last stories. But yeah, it's funny because like when I was looking at a long play to see how long I had left in the game, I looked at like when it was uploaded. Um, it was uploaded the day the game came out, which is like, oh, oops. Um, yeah, yeah, they're Nintendo's not happy about like games leaking early, especially Zelda games. Um, either like somebody got a copy of the game early, like from Amazon or like Walmart or something, because like they usually like get their games like in the store before the street date or whatever, and they can like get them like either like somebody who works at the store or something. Sometimes that's how it happens. Um, but yeah, yeah, playtesters, a bunch of things could happen with how it leaks. Um, But yeah, leaks 2 whole weeks early. But yeah, we'll talk more about that when we get to one of our final stories here. Um, but yeah, so far having fun with the game. We'll probably finish it very soon on stream. But and then here's one of the last presentations of September was the Tokyo Game Show Xbox presentation. There weren't too many things announced at Tokyo Game Show. I thought there would be a bit more. Um, Noticing a pattern here when it comes to Nintendo and their treatment as emulators. Basically, a new Zelda game comes out, people emulate it, and boom, bye bye Switch emulator. Yeah, yeah. No Kingdom Hearts 4. No Kingdom Hearts 4 was Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts 4 was shown at or no Kingdom Hearts anything was shown at Tokyo Game Show. But Xbox had a show there. They showed some things, showed more of a Metal Gear Solid Delta. StarCraft Remastered and StarCraft 2 are coming to Game Pass. Overwatch 2 is getting My Hero Academia skins. Apparently. Age of Mythology retold Immortal Pillars. It's an expansion. They showed more of Indiana Jones. This looks kind of cute. Tanuki Pawn Summer. That was a reveal there. This one was one of the most interesting things, and I'll actually show the trailer to this one, Threads of Time. It's a HD 2D kind of looking game, but it's like Chrono Trigger. They have We Love Katamari coming to Game Pass. Some stuff of Metaphor. The demo recently came out for that. And apparently it's like 10 hours for the demo. Like it's very long. Fragpunk. Atelier. Another Atelier game. Surajang Rumble. Huh. That looks like a hero thing. Stuff for Fallout 76. Sin Duality, Echo of Ada. A Bleach thing. Suikoden 1 and 2 remastered. All You Need Is Help. Huh. Starburst Taste of the Desert. Slitterhead. Oh yeah, this is from the Silent Hill like creator. Which when I remember when this was first revealed, I think they showed it last year. But it looks like Parasite, if you know that like manga and anime. With like how some of the monsters look. But yeah, we showed more of a Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D remake. They we still don't have a demo for that. I'm kind of waiting for a demo. They should have a demo like sometime before it comes out next month. Trials of Mana and Legends of Mana coming to Game Pass. And one of the big things was the Final Fantasy Pixel Remasters coming to Xbox. Not the Game Pass, just coming to Xbox. But they'll probably come to Game Pass at some point for a little bit. But yeah, I am hoping that they'll do a demo soon of Dragon Quest 3. But yeah, the big thing I wanted to talk about with this presentation was Threads of Time. This game looks really cool. Or let me bring up the trailer here. So yeah, you handle the different time periods just like in Chrono Trigger. This is like super Chrono Trigger inspired. We have like some anime cutscenes here, but like the pixel art's super good, and then it has like this these like really cool 3D backgrounds and stuff with the 2D sprites. Dinosaur. But yeah, it looks like the battle system looks really like dynamic with the camera and everything. Looks like we get a lot of cool effects and stuff. Yeah, look at that. That's super cool. Kind of like a robo thing. like that robot. 1000 AD. We didn't really get anything as far as like announce like as far as like Switch like centric stuff at Tokyo Game Show. But yeah, Threads of Time, that was like the most interesting looking thing to me from that presentation. It looked really cool. But yeah, speaking of Switch, this is one of our this is the second to last thing we'll talk about. Because I wanted to end on a happy note, um, rather than a weirdly combative one from Nintendo. So Ryujinx, one of the Switch emulators, because one of them uh was shut down earlier or was it this year? It might have been last year. Yuzu was shut down. But now there's like another one called like Suyu, which is very funny. But yeah, Ryujinx shut down. They were basically contacted by Nintendo saying like, "Hey, there's like some more information coming out about that too, because like people were kind of speculating that they were like paid to like stop development, but no, they were just given a cease and desist to stop doing the Ryujinx emulator or stop developing it. But yeah, Ryujinx the emulator shut down to avoid legal action. So there's some weird like sides to this because like I've been seeing some really weird takes from like both sides of this argument about like Switch emulation. Because like I'm for emulation. Like I think emulation is a good thing as far as like having games able to play like even after uh games have been not on the market for a long time or whatever. Because like that's how I played Earthbound and that's how I played Mother 3 is like through an emulator. Um and eventually I did like I still wanted to like get a physical copy of Earthbound at some point. Um Real question, why emulate Switch if it's new? Yeah, the thing is like the Switch was like easier to emulate than other consoles. And you can't really there's not an emulator for the PS5 or the Xbox Series right now. There might be in the future, but there is also a PS4 emulator being worked on right now. And mainly it's because people want to play Bloodborne at like 60 FPS. That is why like people are working on a PS4 emulator. But yeah, it is really yeah, it's a weird issue. Also sorry if I'm stumbling on my words here. Because like I kind of get the argument of hey, it's a current console. Of course Nintendo's going to be mad. And I do like see people like saying like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to be like playing this game on my PC but better." Uh I know Nintendo doesn't like seeing that, but I mean, if it runs better, I would probably like playing it like that too. Like there's some games like I'm not like an FPS snob or anything. I don't really care that much. Like I played Tears of the Kingdom like all the way through on my Switch. And it could run better, but it's a pretty solid like stable frame rate. It could be a higher frame rate though. But it definitely ran better than Breath of the Wild did. But yeah, it's weird cuz like I do have some mixed feelings about like emulating like current games. Cuz like for like games that are like years and years old, that's like fine. Sure, whatever. But current games, like I remember when like Metroid Dread came out and like people were like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to play like Metroid Dread on an emulator." It's like, "Oh, Metroid's kind of like one of those franchises that kind of needs the sales numbers to like keep going." But I'm not like going to try to like defend Nintendo about what they're doing because like I think having like emulators in the future will definitely be helpful because like it seems like they're only going after the Switch emulators, especially since like the Switch 2 might be revealed soon, and the Switch 2 might actually like play original Switch games better, and that's probably why they're going after the Switch emulators. But they're not going after Cemu, which is the Wii U emulator. The Wii U emulator is still up. They haven't done anything about that. I think it's mainly because like the Switch games are leaking, and when they leak, people are able to play them on these emulators. So yeah, that's because it's the Wii U. Yeah, it's a defunct console. And people are also like saying like, oh well, Citra went down. But the thing with Citra, the emulator for the 3DS, because like the 3DS is like that's also a defunct console now. The thing with Citra is that Citra was developed by the same people who developed Yuzu, and that's why that went down. But yeah, I just hope that like for the future, we will be able to emulate Switch games like after the Switch is like 20 years old or whatever, or even less than that. But yeah, Ryujinx is down, but there's still Suyu, which is which is another Switch emulator. Maybe when it hits 10, maybe. You can no longer download Citra now. You can, just not through them officially. Like, there's always going to be like even with Ryujinx and also Yuzu, there are going to be like versions of it that you can download through other sites. Five is the typical low end mark for some games. Yeah. 10 is the standard for ethics. Yeah. That's why I'm saying like the fact that both Tears of the Kingdom and Echoes of Wisdom leaked 2 weeks early, and people were like playing them on emulators, is what is probably what upset Nintendo, and why they're going after the emulators, and also because they probably want you to be able to play, or you want you to play the original Switch games on the Switch 2 hardware when that comes out. Because they don't want emulators that like run the games like super well on PC to be like right next to the Switch 2 if the Switch 2 can do the same thing. That's probably what they want. But again, I mean, I'm for emulation. Like I said, I played the only way I played Earthbound and Mother 3 was through emulation. And I'll play it again if like they actually release Mother 3 on NSO. I'll play it through it that way. But yeah, but I didn't want to end on a like sour note or anything. So the last thing I wanted to talk about was the collaboration that Nintendo's doing with with San Diego Zoo. They're doing a Pikmin collaboration. Apparently, at the San Diego Zoo, you're gonna be able to like spot Pikmin around the park, which I think that's really cool. That they're doing like something like this. I think it's only for the I think it's only for the like the month of October. No, it's until they're saying it's until November 28th. Yeah, San Diego Zoo X Pikmin. But yeah, they actually do have some Pikmin at the Super Nintendo World Park, in Universal Studios. That they have like that's like their version of Hidden Mickeys, or Pikmin around the park. I think that's really cute. Will I find Olimar? I don't know. But yeah, I thought that was a really cool thing that they're doing with yeah, Pikmin. Hidden Pickles. But yeah, that's the last thing I wanted to talk about. More Pikmin. Pikmon. Because I didn't want to end on a sour note with the Nintendo going after Ryujinx. Arliss probably have it, yeah. Arlo doesn't live in California anymore. He can't go to. Well, he could go to San Diego. Um. I mean, it was very far from San Diego in the first place. Um. But I used to live near San Diego. Like for a brief moment when my mom lived in California. So I would have loved this. When I was out there. But yeah, that's pretty much all the news I wanted to talk about for my first podcast. I was kind of like constantly going, um, since it's just me doing it right now. I might have guests and stuff in the future, um, but for right now, it'll probably just be me at the end of the end of the end of the month talking about like the stuff that's coming out. Hopefully, we get something about the Switch 2 um this month so we can like talk about that. There's like other stuff coming out. Sonic X Shadow Generations is coming out. The new Mario Party is coming out. Um there's some other stuff. Zoocosis just came out. I kind of want to play that. I might play that at the end of the month. If I don't get through all of my debut-a-thon stuff. Can't wait till Jack Black joins the content the podcast. Yeah. Have the have Bowser join Jack Black. So in game stores they had wanted like $90 for a copy of Heart Gold. That's cheap compared to what I've seen it for. No, I actually was able to get a copy of Heart Gold like in like Walmart when they had like a copy of it for like its original retail price of like $40. Um, I was very lucky that day. They're like getting a lot of their stock, like getting rid of a lot of their stock there. Um, but anyway, uh, I think I will go to the bathroom real quick. Um, but for those of you watching on YouTube, thanks for watching to the end. Um, and I'll see you in the next podcast where hopefully we'll be able to talk about the Switch 2 reveal. Maybe. Hopefully. But yeah, bye bye YouTube. You guys in the chat can say bye bye YouTube. Have a YouTube channel? Oh yeah, yeah. Let me do the YouTube thing. Yeah, there's the YouTube. But yeah, it'll go on the VTubing